Well, hello. I'm actually on time today. Hello, it's Thursday evening and I'm live in the studio for my Thursday evening broadcast. There wasn't one last week, I'm afraid. Real life kind of got in the way and I wasn't up for doing it. But I'm here. And tonight's show, I am hoping that, as you can see here, the inceptors, I am hoping that you who are watching will bear witness to the end of the saga that is these things. I'm hoping to be able to put these to bed come the end of the show, or at least get to a point where they just need a quick dry brush and tidy up and then they're done, because I've got some crackle paint to put on there and they won't be done by the end of the show. But I'm hoping that we'll be able to put these to bed and I can move on, which would be lovely. A little bit of housekeeping as usual is my Patreon shout out, so just going along the bottom of the page. My secretary shout out, a big shout out to Maurice, who she's a secretary, she gets a shout out in the beginning of every show. And another little thing is, if you guys become a patron during one of my live shows or during any video, if I happen to be making a video when you join Patreon, you get a shout out then as well, just to say a big thank you for helping support the channel, help me get better and better. There was also no video. Let me get this right. I made a video public earlier on today that my patrons have been able to watch for the last week. Now, I would have put another video up on my Patreon for my patrons to watch over the next week, for a new video to be live next week, which was going to be how I do my bases, crackle bases. Unfortunately for this guy here, who's for my son, I was trying to use my hairdryer to help speed up the crackle paint, and I ended up melting the base. So I've had to redo it, and I ended up melting it during filming. So I'm going to have to reshoot the whole video. So I'll get that done as soon as possible. So the next video available to watch will be that one, which I'll get onto as soon as I can. Other than that, yeah, let's get cracking on with these, because these guys have been really doing my head in. I've been wanting to get these guys done. They've been taking all week. In fact, longer actually. Last time I started doing them, I tried a couple of weeks ago. Ended up hitting a brick wall with them, and then I tried again, and I've seemed to have hit another brick wall. So we're trying to get these done tonight, and then hopefully before the end of the video or the stream, I'll be able to move on to something else. I should be going on until around about 8 o'clock my time, so we'll see what's going on. So let's get cracking on with these guys, and yeah, let's take it from there, shall we? Righty ho. And as usual, if you're in the comments, give me a shout, let me know you're here, and we can have a chat. Right, so what have I done so far? I mean, you can see that these guys are actually coming along quite nicely from just being grey plastic. I mean, the biggest problem that I've had with these was trying to do this silver. It took so long to get that silver done that yeah, it's been an absolute nightmare. But we're getting on with them. I need to just do a few highlights on the black and the silver. We'll get the transfers ready to go on. And a little bit of dry brushing here and there, and some lenses, and they're pretty much done, thankfully, after about a week. So we'll get on with those tonight, and hopefully they'll be done. First things first, I've just got some dry brushing to do. If I can find the right paint. So I just want to get the chest plates done. And ironically, dry brushing was the video that was uploaded today that people can see. Although I say I want to do some dry brushing, I've just realised they're all sat in alcohol. I'm going to have to dry these off and hope that I can get something done before. Let's get these cleaned off. Let's try and find the dry brushes that I'll need. Which will be that one. Didn't realise I had all my brushes sat in alcohol. Get these cleaned off. The joy of it being alcohol though is that will dry really quickly. So I should be able to just crack on with that shortly without too much bother. And I'll put those up there for later. Right, well if I'm waiting for that to dry then, I may as well start making a start on getting my transfers ready. So I'll grab my gloss medium. If you haven't seen it, there is a video on the channel about how I do my transfers and the products I use to do it. But needless to say, I use some gloss medium to create a nice smooth surface. I then use the microset and microsol from Microscale Industries, and then once the transfers are applied, gloss over it to keep it in place, and then a matte varnish, matte coat, just to get rid of the shine. It's really that simple. And the transfers, there's quite a lot of transfers that need going onto these guys as well actually, which is a bit of a pain. We have some on the knee. We have both shoulder pads as well. So we'll get them ready to go. So add the gloss onto here so that it gives us a really nice smooth surface to adhere the transfers to. And on the other side. There could be a lot of waiting around for things to dry tonight as well. Getting to a point where they might need some drying time, but we'll just have to see how things go. And these models really have been a real pain to put together and paint. I'm not a fan. I mean, I like Primaris Marines in themselves. I like the way they, or most of the way that most of them look. And some of them have been easy enough to paint. But these particular models that GW have brought out, I can't stand the look of them. But genuinely, I have no idea how anybody's supposed to paint them well. Putting them together, you know, the way that Primaris Marines, I'm not a fan of the way Primaris Marines go together anyway, because you don't really have much of a choice in terms of you know, posing and stuff. Most of the models are pretty much, you know, you put them together this particular way and that's about it. I know about conversion and all that sort of stuff, but I'm not really that into the converting at the minute. So it's been a bit of a, yeah, I like most of them. I mean, these Marines I can't stand. I don't like the look of these. That's why they don't use the flight stands. Even my client doesn't like the way that these models look on their flight stands, which is why they're on the rocks. But these models, I don't like the way they look, but also the way that they've been going together and trying to paint them has been an absolute nightmare. They genuinely have been difficult. They haven't been much fun, put it that way. we're just getting the gloss on. Once this is on, I'll probably move on to doing the lenses and stuff. You'll see that I'll be jumping around jobs at the minute on these, because there's not really a lot that's, you know, I need to wait for things to dry completely, and I'll be jumping around the jobs doing one thing and then moving on to something else while it's drying, because I would really love to see the back of these today. They have been difficult, and they have taken up far more time than they should have done. They have taken, well, on their own, I think they've taken up the best part of at least a week, possibly even 2 weeks, if I count both times I tried to do them. And that's just far too long when you're trying to do a 2,000 point army and you get halted on one particular unit for over a week. It's definitely over a week. That's not good, because it just takes up so much time and drains you as well. I ended up feeling so drained and not really wanting to pick up a brush for anything else. And again, that's not good as well. Unfortunately, it has meant that the July target is not going to be met, I'm afraid. That was a shame. I mean, the clients doesn't really need them done for July. It was more like a self-imposed challenge to try and get the 2,000 points done. I mean, I started these at the end of April. Was it the end of April, or was it the beginning of June? End of March. I can't remember exactly when I started. I'd have to have a look back. But I made a start on these models, and I wanted to get them done for July, but unfortunately it's just not going to happen. Because what have we got? We got 2 days left of the month, and I still have quite a bit to do. So we've done the gloss ready for the transfers, and then what we're going to do is we're going to start doing the eyes. We're just going to use the technical gem paint Waystone Green for the lenses. We're not going crazily complicated. The eyes have actually already been done. I don't know if you can see on there, it's not very well. There is actually silver in the eye sockets already. But what we're just going to do is we're just going to pop in here with some green gem paint. Just like that. And I kind of have to put my head behind the microphone so I don't bother talking when I'm trying to do that. But there we go. Really brings out the colour of his eyes, don't you think? But yeah, I know, it's really cheesy. Right, so we'll just concentrate on the rest of them as well. And you know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to fight around this hood. I haven't even glued the hoods on yet. I was just going to try and fight around the hood to try and get this other eye done. Although, to be honest with you, it's not going to go very nicely. This is another problem with these models, is you can't really paint them when they're not together because of how small the pieces are. But when you do put them together, half of it becomes unreachable. So you just have to kind of hope for the best and try and clean off the mistakes quickly, like that. It's a nightmare, they really are. I've not enjoyed these models at all. I'll be glad when they're done, to be honest with you. But we're getting there, they're almost finished, and then we can move on to something else. And who knows, maybe next week I won't even be doing this commission. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Oh man. Terrible, terrible models. I'd make a terrible GW sales rep, wouldn't I? Buy whatever model you want, as long as it's not these ones. Can't even see what I'm doing there. Computer's whining at me that I'm using too much CPU. A new computer is being built as we speak, gradually, piece by piece, so that won't be a problem for much longer. Try and get this eye done. There we go, right, and try and clean off the mistake. Okay. Did I do that eye? Those eyes yet? Right, there's the eyes done. I'm pretty sure that pretty much means that the heads are done actually, so I could probably get those covered up and glued on, which is good. We'll have a look at this. That is now dry, this dry brush, so I can get on with doing that as well. So that's handy. Right. So I need my tissue. Find a bit that's not quite so dirty. Still talking to myself, I see. Anybody here? Right. So we're just going to grab the black on the chest. Get that highlighted up a bit. So get this black done. Well, the grey highlighted on the black. Oh, lost the jump pack. We'll get those glued on shortly as well. I think that'll be one of the next jobs to get done. We'll get these finished as best we can. Just trying to think whether I want to do the boots. I know I need to highlight them, but I just wonder the best way of doing it. Highlight dry brushing would be quicker. But what colours do I want to do it? Same with the guns. The trouble is the guns, they won't dry brush very well because of the way that they are, so I have to edge those. So a notification pop up, what was that? Oh, a new subscriber, Don Fleck. Well, thank you for subscribing. I hope you're watching. And if you're not, I hope you enjoy the videos that I do in the future. If you've got any comments or suggestions, feel free to make them. I've always said to people, you know, I don't do this channel for myself. I do this channel in terms of content is what people want to see, and to give my opinions on painting. To just tell people how I do it, how I do things, and if it helps somebody, then that's great. So I'm just highlighting up the greys now, from the highlight the black up to Longbeard grey. Dry paint. I found that's really nice. The Dawnstone and Longbeard grey. I think it's one of the painting app suggestions, and it does work quite well. Especially on smaller areas. Gives you a nice highlighted black. Longbeard grey isn't quite so overpowering. I mean, it's quite a contrast between the black. But it's not too overpowering, I don't think. Here we go, right. And then we do also have the gold on there as well, but I think I'll leave that for now. So what I want to do is I want to come back with this Dawnstone, and I think I'm going to try and highlight the boots using dry brushing. It would be a lot easier if that will work, and that works okay. Just catch the edge of the boots. It's pretty much just the front there that needs doing, and maybe a bit on the back. Nothing too crazy. So we'll just catch those along the front. I wonder about the gun, but I'm really not sure. Oh, that seems to work alright. I mean, the grey isn't too much of a... doesn't stand out on the metal, which is good. And it doesn't seem to want to catch over the blue either of the plasma, which is nice. It means I can get this done as well. Oh, too much on the brush. Should be able to just grab some highlights as we go along here. Saves edging it all. I'm not so sure it actually is, to be honest with you. Let's compare the two. Well, I suppose it's caught him a little bit. Yeah, we will carry on with that. I don't know if I need to worry about the Thunderhawk or whether I'll just leave it at these Dawnstone, to be honest. Dawnstone's nice enough of a highlight just to leave it. There's this grey. I was thinking about going up to Thunderhawk Blue after this, but I don't think I need to worry about that, because I'm not looking to really, well, I suppose it depends on what the client thinks, but I'm not looking to really give these guys a massive highlight on their weapons and guns and body parts. So I'm hoping that this is just enough just to give it some definition, but not really spend hours and hours and hours trying to edge highlight and catch the right light angles and so on. Ironically, the zenithal highlights that I've already done in these have almost disappeared. I think they are. If you look from underneath, they are much darker than if you look at the top, so I mean, that's an upside, that's a plus. Right, so we'll just go along with the Dawnstone then, I think, and we'll just leave it at that. fly buzzing around behind me somewhere. It's really annoying. There we are. So we're carrying on with the Dawnstone still. We've got 3 more guys to go, and then I think we'll start adding transfers, because that will need some time to dry. Add some transfers and then start adding some glue onto the backpacks, get them together. And then some crackle medium, and then I don't know, they might be done by then. That might be it. I can't think. One thing I do tend to do is I don't really tend to have a list of things that need doing on a model. I kind of pick something to move on to. I don't tend to think that far ahead, because I think you could spend too long just trying to figure out how you're going to do it and never actually get around to actually doing it. So I just pick up my brushes, I start applying paint on a particular area, then decide where I'm going to move on to after that. I mean, it can lead to things getting missed though, so you do have to be careful with painting that way. I mean, there are some things that I tend to do first. I mean, I tend to do the metallics first. Certainly the lead belcher. It just gets in the way. It certainly adds some colour, especially when you're doing, if you've done everything, if you've sprayed it all one colour and then get in there with the lead belcher, that just adds some colour. It breaks up the big monotonous colour that you've got, and it helps you see where you're going in terms of, you know, how is it coming along. One thing I have noticed when you're painting though, you do tend to have to trust that you know what you're doing. One of the biggest things that I've noticed is, you know, the model doesn't look right until it's finished. So you know, when you're looking at a model, it can, right up until the actual minute that you finish, it can look wrong. Then all of a sudden you'll put the last colour on and it's perfect. It's exactly how you wanted it. And I mean, that's something I've noticed. When you're painting, you'll stand there and it'll look wrong, it doesn't look right, and you sit there thinking, what am I doing wrong, where am I going wrong, and it's actually only half finished. But if you just kind of stick with it and just then finish the model, sometimes you'll find it actually looks alright, and that you were worrying for no reason, because the reason why it looked wrong is because it wasn't finished. Now, something I'm going to try and do later on in this stream as well is possibly we'll see if we can get some pictures of these up live when they're finished, if they get finished. That's what I'm aiming for. It would be nice. Yeah, we've got quite hot weather, so the crackle paint, I don't know if it'll dry in time or not. You know, I am only going to be here for about another hour, so you know, what's going to happen, I don't know. Are they going to be finished or not? Remains to be seen, I think. I do hope so though. It would be nice to get these things finished, out of the way, and we can finally move on to something else. I mean, it's the trouble. I mean, sometimes you've got some ideas, you've got a list in your head, and you build all the models for it, and you come up to one particular unit that you really can't stand, but you really need to have them for your army. Maybe it's a synergy thing or something, and you're like, yeah, but I don't like them, but I really do need them. One little hint I would tell you is, do not leave them until last. Whatever you do, don't leave them till last. This is why I'm still doing these now rather than carrying on with the commission. even though these particular models, I could argue, have caused me to be late with the target finish time, is because if I left them till last, you could have some real problems right when you get to the end of a job, end of the commission, or end of your army list that you're putting together. You could really ruin your feelings for your list. So whatever you do, do not leave bad models, or stressful models, or things that you're just not feeling. Don't leave them till last. Get them done. Get them out of the way, and then that way you can then move on to something. And so when you finish your job and you end up on a high, as it were, you'll find that you might actually enjoy them. Whereas if you left them till last, you could end up just hating your models, and that's the last thing you want to do. You don't want to hate the models. Right, now I've just put on some gold there, dry brush some gold on there. It's a bit dirty because the brush is dirty, so I might end up having to redo that, but we'll just leave it for now. Right, put that in the alcohol and move on. So we're going to do transfers now. So the first thing we need to do is I'm going to grab this. I know I'm going to need these. I need the 6 of those, and then 6 of those, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. Brilliant. So they're on there. Then what I do want to do is I want to pick up this from the Dark Imperium, and that will give me the sergeant's markings as well, which is brilliant. So and don't forget, like I said, if you become a patron while I'm filming anything, you'll get your shout out. Check out the links. All the links are down at the bottom of the video, or they should be. Let's have a look. Are they down the bottom of the video? I don't actually know if I've got links, but I've got all my links at the beginning of my at the beginning of my channel. You can see all the links there. Right, so what we are looking at is where's my knife? Is here. So I need 5 of these, which hopefully will just slide straight across here. That's 4. That's number 5. Oh, actually, Sergeant, he has a yellow one, so I don't need the gold one. Sergeant's a yellow. There we go. So that's there. So 6 of those. These have got the black knee pads. So this is 6 of these black fast attack squad numbers, or squad badges. And then we just need 6 of these yellow blood drops for 2nd company, which I know is pretty unoriginal for GW models, but that's the problem. I've got so many of these transfers, I might as well use them on my commissions rather than on my own personal models. See, I don't charge for these squad markings and stuff. I just do it as part of the painting process. So I just use what I've got available. Right. So this is my kitchen roll with some distilled water in it. It's starting to feel a little bit slimy, so I could probably do with changing, but we should be alright for now. But what we do need to do is I just need to separate all of the transfers so that they're all individuals rather than on one sheet. So get these all in here. And if you watch the video about applying water slide decals or transfers, you'll understand why I use this kitchen roll method as opposed to using a bowl of water. But the short answer is they can be there as long as I want them to be. Whereas in a bowl of water, you're against the clock until the decal actually slides off of the paper, starts floating around in the water. So that's what the kitchen roll is for. It's wet kitchen roll. So I can prepare all 6 guys transfers, but essentially what I could do is I could leave it overnight if I needed to before doing any more. And I wouldn't have to worry about the decal sliding around or sliding off or disappearing anywhere. It's just sat there, it's not going anywhere, ready to be used when I need it to be. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more water to this setup and hope that it soaks through. Oh, okay. It's feeling a bit dry and a bit slimy, but there we go. Right, let's have a look. Right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start getting the transfers transferred. So we're going to get the microset. And we're going to get my some tweezers. It's not the tweezers I like using, but it's close enough. And we'll get cracking. Dollop that on his knee there. Pick up one of the transfers for the knee and then try and fight my way around this model to get that where I want it to be. Is on there. Oh, nearly losing the model while I'm at it. And just gently try and coax that into position where I want it to be. Which is somewhere around there, I think. Yep, I think that will do about there. And the microsole will finish that off. It's not laying properly, it's not laying flat, but it's not meant to just yet. The microsole will finish that off and get that line in the perfect position. Now this side is the company badge, which is the yellow teardrop. Get slid onto the model from there. There we are. And hopefully we'll be able to move that around. I don't know what it's been recently. I don't know if it's been the weather or just generally a little bit of bad luck. I'm having problems moving transfers around. been having real issues, especially when I was doing the video. They were really not playing ball during the videoing of adding transfers. I had a real hard time with them. They seem to be working okay now. And then we will move on to the chapter badge, which is obviously the Blood Angels. And then we'll just slide that onto there as well. What I will say is these are in the way, so let's move that off. And then we can push that into position, hopefully. See, this is where I start having issues. The larger the transfers, the harder they are to start moving them around to get them into position. There we are. No, that looks pretty good to me. I'm reasonably happy with where that is, so I'll just leave that there. So there we have his chapter, squad, no sorry, we've got his company, his squad and his chapter on there. I'm happy with that, and we'll move on to the next one. So I'm going to take these off, we'll glue them on in just a moment once we've finished all of this. This is going to be fun. Right, so move this around. There's plenty of microset on there. I'm going to try and slide this on to here. I'm using all sorts of random angles of my hands. Try and get them on. Trying to move it around the model so that it goes where you want it to, which is about there ish. There we go. Yep, and then just the microsole will finish that off. Yep. Might take a few applications on these knees on these, but we'll see. We need a chapter company badge on this side. Slide that down and across. There we are. Something like, whoops, whoops, there we go. Don't keep moving. There we go. And then chapter on the other side. There we go. So this is another regular guy, so he just gets a plain black one. Let's move that around, pick it up there, slide it down, just like that. If you heard that, was my phone telling me it's about to die. I'll get that charged and plugged in just a moment. Whoops. No, that's... There we go. That'll stay there. There we are. That's fine. We'll leave that as it is. So let's put him over here as well. And then move on to the sergeant. Let's move some of these things around there. like so. Pop that off. Just easier to sort things out that way. Let's get the phone plugged in before it dies. Want that to keep living. Right. Knee. Here we go. And grab a knee. Is here. Which slides down onto there. Have a look at that. That's almost spot on. We just shimmy it across just a bit. Can we get it across? Just a little bit. There we go. We'll just leave that right there. And we have the yellow chapter. Company. Yellow company, that's the one. Yellow company on the side here. Oh, so close to being spot on. There we go, that's fine. That's fine where that is. And then we move over. Now this guy uses, he's the sergeant, so he will use the yellow company chapter. Which is the yellow one here. It's gone on a little wonky. That's fine, we can move that around a bit like so. Come on, get across there. Stop playing games with me. Can you move up? Move up. Oh. And that's doing quite nicely there, I think. Right. We're motoring with these now. Right, here we go. So, moving on to this guy. Take his backpack off. I'm glad I didn't glue them on a few minutes ago. You remember what I said a little while ago? I was going to say I was going to glue them on. Get rid of that off my screen. There we go. Oh. It's not playing ball. Come on. Oi. Oi. It's gone wonky. No, what you doing? No, this one's playing. It's playing games with me, this one. Right. Bring it down. Oh, it's definitely on the wonk. There we go. There we go. Right. Stay there. Right. Like so, finish that. Right. Moving on. Let's get a blood drop. Slide it down. There we go. Oh, get off. No, you're going to stay there. Right. Okay, fine. Let's move it around. Move it around. Move it around. What was that? Bedknobs and Broomsticks. That was from Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Where did that come from? Right. And then put that on there, and then get myself a Cub Chapter logo. And pop that on there. Move it around. You know what? Nope. Don't even move it around. There we go. Look at that. Just get the air out from underneath it. Look at that. That is pretty much spot on, that one. I'm not going to mess around too much with that. I'm just going to leave it. Because I know what I'm like. If it's not obviously wrong, and I try and mess around with it to try and make sure, I end up ruining it. So I'm just going to leave it where it was and move on to the next one. We've got 2 more guys to go with transfers. So we just pop this onto there. That's spot on, those. I like that. Quite happy with that. Let's leave. Oh, wait, no. You had to catch, didn't you? Right, we'll just leave that there. Just don't move. Right. Now what I'm kind of hoping actually is I'm hoping that it's taken me long enough to put these transfers on that they will be dry, that the microset will be dry by the time I finish with these guys, so that the first layer of microsol can go on before we have to move on. Otherwise what will happen is I will have to just sit here and wait for them. I mean, I've got other things to be able to do, obviously, but I don't want to have to wait for these to dry. We're so close to finishing these. I just want them done, you know. Just put that there. Oh dear. Right. Oh no, that's not going to work. Right, let's just slide that onto there. That side, pop it down that side a bit, there we go, lovely. That's nice, that will do just fine. And then finally we'll do this last one here. So pop that on his knees, grab the final tiny little ones, make sure it's wet, slide that on there, where did that go? There we go. Right. That's lovely, that would do nicely, just sat there. And then move on to there, blood drop. Here we go. Right. Position. Oh, don't play silly buggers with me now. There we go. Come on, pinch it across. There we go. That'll do. There we go. And then the final one to apply is the chapter logo on this side. Slide that down there. There we go. Oh, look at that. It's bang on. I'm not going to do anything with that. Just give it a touch with the microset. There we go. Right. So that's all of the transfers applied. Now the question is has that taken long enough for the microset to dry on the first ones, in which case I can go along and touch the microsole in there, or am I going to have to try and find something else to do while we're waiting for them to dry? This is the thing. Right. Wishful thinking. There we go. Right. So let's have a gander here. A nice dry brush. Let's have a look to see how they're doing. So it's not quite dry, but I think it's dry enough. So I'll be able to just come in with this, especially on these knees, and just put a dollop of that on there. Just dollop. There we go. Just leave that. There we go. Ooh. Leave that, and then come in with a touch of it on here. Just tap it on there, and on that side as well. And if you want to see this go wrong, watch the video that I have on my channel applying transfers. I didn't quite have dry gloss. No, sorry, this stuff wasn't quite dry when I went back in and dried the vehicle that I was applying transfers to, and it goes cloudy and horrible. So if you want to see it go wrong, watch that video. I'm not going to make that mistake while I'm live on YouTube. That would be foolish. I'm going to make sure it's absolutely dry before I try anything like that. But for now, we're just going in, just touching the transfers with this microsol. This is some sort of solvent based thing, and it will help the transfers just suck themselves flat to the surface, remove those wrinkles. It just makes them completely flat. Thing is, it's so hot today as well. It's really humid. I've got a fan going on behind me. I don't know if you can hear it. It shouldn't be coming over the microphone, but I've got a fan behind me that's blowing as well, so there's some airflow around here. It's really hot, so these should dry reasonably quickly actually. So we're just doing that now. Just popping this on there. Solvent. There we go. Put a dollop on there. There we go. Lovely. Right. Whoops. Had to touch it, didn't I? Had to touch it. Right. I've got some on my fingers. Right. So there's that. First microsol application. So I'm going to move on to what we're going to do now. Is I'm going to glue those jump packs on, because I don't need to worry about moving those transfers around now. So I'm going to glue the jump packs on, if I can find my glue there, and then we'll move on to applying some crackle paste, and then hopefully by that time, because a crackle paste will take some time to apply, we'll be able to do another application of a microsol, and then we'll see at what position, what we're looking at once that's done. So that's glued onto there. glued up. I genuinely can't wait to see the back of these things though. They have been a nightmare. I haven't enjoyed making these models at all. And I would suggest, unless you really want them, is don't bother. I mean, the rules for them I haven't really looked into. I mean, the client that I'm doing them for, he says that they got some pretty good rules. Yeah, if that's true or not, I can't really comment. I haven't really considered them myself. I've never really liked the look of the models anyway. They were kind of ugly looking models to start with. And now that I've had the pleasure of working with them, I find them utterly repulsive. So it hasn't been a good experience with these. But then my lifelong goal is to actually own the entire Blood Angels army. So, I'm gonna have to do them myself at some point. Did I just move that transfer? I ended up sticking my finger right on it. Don't think I did. I think I might have got away with it. Hope so. Okie dokie. Right. So there we go. So they're going to sit there for just a moment while that does its thing. I'm going to have a short drink because my throat is killing me. And then we'll get some crackle paint going on, shall we? Now, I don't know, for those of you who don't know, this is homemade Gremlin Earth. Okay, the colour's not quite the same. They're not quite the same. But this is, what's this say? I don't even know what they say, but it's crackling paste from Viva. It's a 250ml bottle, as opposed to a, what is this, a 24ml bottle, and this cost about 3 times the cost of this, but it's definitely more than 3 times worth. Obviously you have to add some ink and some colour to this to change the colour, but other than that it's the same stuff. Right, so what we're going to do, I don't want to use that brush because I'm using that for the Microsol. Running out of brushes, they're all in the alcohol. Right, so here we go. So I'm just going to grab this on the end there and just start dolloping it on. There we go. And I don't know what the humidity and the heat in here is going to do. I have a feeling this is going to actually dry rather quickly compared to what I'm used to it doing. It's very hot in here. So I'm just going to add some of this crackle paste around this rock and then up to it a little bit just to help hide the join. So nice and thick around the base of the rock, just to really cover up, essentially just fill the hole with crackle paste, because it'll crackle in there and it'll give you a nice texture. It's very thick, very thick. in some places and quite thin in others. I'm going to go along there as well, just filling in that hole, and then around the side there as well, where the rock just comes over the base a little bit. Oh, there we go. And then what I tend to do is I'll take it off of the stand and then just run my finger just around the base there so that it doesn't crackle onto the plastic. Just run my finger around there, and it gives me a nice smooth thing just to finish later on. Right, do the same thing on all of the others. Whoops, bang, I properly smacked it that time, didn't I? There we go. Right, I'm not sure I'm going to get these finished on camera today. We've got about 20 minutes or so to go before I sign off, unless of course people start talking. If we start getting a lot of conversation going, I might hang around a little bit longer, but as it is, I've got about 20 minutes before we leave, and I don't know if I'll get them finished per se, but I'm certainly much closer to finishing these guys than I was when we started. Certainly a lot closer than I was at the beginning of this week, and I'm so glad to see the end of them, because I can then move on. I have other things that need doing. This big 2K build is only about halfway through. Genuinely, I was hoping to have had this almost finished by now. I didn't know whether I was going to make it, you know, all the way to July and have it all done, but I was genuinely hoping to be able to kind of maybe only go over by a few days, but at the way that it's going, I'm going to be going over by about a week, possibly two, which is a shame. I did genuinely want them finished by now, or certainly get them finished sooner than they are being. But sometimes, you know, you get to one of these models and or certainly this squad of models, and you just hit the wall. You just feel like you just run headfirst into a brick wall and there's just nothing you can do about it. They just seem to take an absolute age, but we're almost done, so I'm happy with that. We're almost got rid of them, and then they'll go in the photo booth. So yeah, you won't get to see the end of these, but keep an eye on the Facebook page. You will get to see pictures of these once I've done them, and I do have some more pictures to take. Actually, I did actually finish a whirlwind. That's waiting to have its picture taken. I've done half of a tactical squad as well, but I think I will wait until I've done the other half before I take the picture, because it's just a bit weird. Because it's not a Primaris squad, it's just a regular one, so having a 5-man squad of those is a bit weird. When I will have a 10-man squad by the time I'm finished, or finished painting them anyway. But I do have a whirlwind to take a picture of, so that is coming shortly. So keep your eyes out on the Facebook page for them, and on Instagram as well. All the links are, you know, floating around all over my various social media accounts. You'll be able to find them Instagram, or Facebook, Patreon, Twitter, and obviously here on YouTube. And don't forget about the video that will be coming as well, which is the crackle bases and how I do my crackle bases. You're seeing me doing some of it now, but I'll actually have a proper video coming soon about the whole setup. I won't bother about the homemade crackle paint though. I'll just talk about Agrellan Earth, because that will be coming. That's a video for my son's Necron Cryptek, so it's I tend to use all GW stuff for him, so that he can go out and he knows where to buy it in the future. Whereas this stuff I buy online, and he's only little, so he can't buy stuff online and stuff as yet. So but we are getting there nice and slowly. Well, not nice and slowly, but we're getting there slowly. And I mean, one of the things is I've been telling myself as I've been going through these inceptors, as long as paint is being applied, progress is being made. So there is that upside, is progress is happening. It just might not be happening at the speed I would like it to be happening, but we're getting there. Just dump this crackle paste on here. And there's something else as well. If you ever want to make your own, make sure you're getting crackle paste. Do not get crackle medium. There is a difference. Crackle medium is a very thin. Well, it's like liquid. It's a liquid, a very thin liquid that you add to paint, or you paint over paint, and it will crackle. And then you can overbrush that, and it looks, well, it's crackled, like, you know, different layers of paint, and one layer is, you know, old paint, and it's cracked and crackled. Yeah, you know what I mean. Whereas crackle paste is different. It's a texture and not, you know, an effect. So if you ever go down the route of making your own, because it is cheaper to do it that way, make sure you buy the right thing. And the only reason I say it is I did the wrong thing, and I bought crackle medium, thinking, well, that's the same stuff, and it wasn't. So, a word of my experience there for you. And then finally the last one for some crackle. I'm really trashing my brushes doing this. I'm going to have to really give them a good cleaning once I'm off air. But we'll pop that down here. Get it covered. Like I said, I'm not sure how well this is going to crackle while I'm on. I mean, heat is one thing, but then there's humidity as well, so is that kind of trapping moisture in it? You know, it works as it's drying, you see, and if it's still got moisture in it, I imagine if there's a lot of moisture in the air, it won't actually dry quite so well. We'll just have to wait for a dry heat. But we will have to see it. Let's give that a good clean in the water. Give it a clean with the brush cleaner in a bit. Shall we clean off the plastic base? There we are. So they're on there. That needs a good shaking. I'll do that next time. Let's have a gander at the first one that I did. How is that going? I mean, it's not really crackling. It's not crackling yet. So, I mean, it's trying to right on the edge. So we'll see what happens. But while we're here, we'll go give these another little touch up with the micro sole, because these knee pads will need a couple of applications, and just throw some on there as well, just to cover it up. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the transfers there. They seem to be clouding up for some reason. Certainly that one does. Not quite sure why. The gloss was definitely dry when I started. Unless it's fumes from the... it might be fumes from the super glue. No, I didn't think about them. Oh. Don't want to start getting solvent all over the crackle, so be careful how much I'm applying. Finally on this one we have that. There we go. Right. So right, so they're waiting to go, they're waiting to crackle. There's not really much else to do on these. There's a little bit of a tidy up that needs to be done, but other than that, I think we're there, to be honest with you. We still need to add a few more applications of microsol to those knee pads, probably, maybe one or two more applications. Yeah, so let's have a gander. I've had a right. I think, yeah, I think we'll call it there, to be honest with you. I think that is enough for today. I've done pretty much what I wanted to. If I bring these guys into shot here, yeah, they're not finished. I won't be taking a picture of them just yet, but on the whole I am happy with where I am with these now, as opposed to where I was just a couple of days ago. You might have seen some of the posts that I put up about them. I was not happy with them, but we're getting there. We're almost finished. We need to just finish off those transfers and let the crackle paint dry, and then give them a dry brush, and then a few tidy up bits and pieces to finish them off, and then that's that, so I can finally move on. So keep an eye out on my Instagram. It's my eBay telling me something. Keep an eye on my Instagram, my Facebook, and various other social media, so that you can keep up with what's happening. I will be moving on from these inceptors finally, so tomorrow should be a good day. I can get some stuff done that is, yeah, better than these. So if you joined me today, thank you very much for watching. It has been nice to get these done. I can't wait to see what I get on with next and see how quickly I can do, and then just keep an eye on my social media, just to let me know, so that you can find out just how far over my July that I get, how far over July I get when I finish these. July, the 1st of July was the target. It doesn't look like I'm going to make that because we've only got a couple of days left of the month, but you know, we're getting there, aren't we? So I'm happy where I am. So thank you for joining in. If you're watching this afterwards, thank you for watching it. And yeah, every Thursday, I'll be back next Thursday at 6:30 again. And yeah, keep an eye out for videos. Alright, so thank you for watching. Check out the links in your leisure, and I'll catch you next time. Alright, ta-ra.